the people, and he said, Bishop, where are you? I said, I'm going to South Jersey. He said, no, Bishop, please. They have locked us out of the church. We tried to protest. They say if you protest, the police were everywhere. I said, okay, this doesn't look good. So we don't have a serious problem. I said, you know what, let me go. So I went to the church. I got to the church. The whole place was all locked up. The police officers everywhere, armed. So I went to one of them and I said to them, how are you? She looked at me and she said to me, do you have an invitation to this service? I said, what do you mean by invitation to service? When did you ever hear that churches service is not by invitation? I've never heard that before. Anglican service is not by invitation. Well, we are under, we have been giving orders to not allow some particular people into the church. I said, well, I don't think I'm one of them. So I put the woman aside and said, I gave her a little brief of what's going on. I said, listen, these people you are locking out of the church, they have won some of the founding members of this church. She said, what? I said, yes. They are not criminals? I said, they're not criminals. They are founding, some of them are founding members of this church. They are owners of this church that you are locking out. I said, you are committing a crime. You are actually violating their own human rights by locking them out of their church. You're going to run into some serious problem here. The woman looked at me and said, wow, I didn't know that was what happened. I said, well, if you understand how America runs, and I'm going to say it on air, what has always happened is when white people see that the black people have an issue, they divide and rule. This church is a church of Igbo people. They have an issue. Yes, they had an internal crisis. What did Bishop Ross do to settle that internal crisis? All he wanted to do was divide the church, take one group, and go with them. Are you not familiar with that? The divide and rule everywhere. So I said that to this woman, and the moment I said that, the woman actually was upset. She's like, you know what, Bishop? If that's what they're doing in there, you need to be inside that church stopping that service. So she actually opened the door, okay? So I'm sure people are hearing for the first time. I did not break into the church. Who am I to break through police security? I did not break into the church. The police officer was the one that opened up and said, you should go in there. If I were in your shoes, I will stop that service. So I went in there. When I got in, the usher saw me. They welcomed me, said, Bishop, welcome. If you go to the video, say, welcome, Bishop. Please go, just go ahead. They told me, go ahead. And as I was going, suddenly one of the knights just jumped forward and started pushing me. And then, of course, the people from the other group who felt I was there to support them, give them support, they engaged them and started pushing them. I got to the altar, and guess what? Bishop Ross and I, the first thing we did was we hugged each other. And I said, my brother, you should have got into this. And he said, you are right. I said to him, did you get my note? He kept quiet. He didn't say anything. I said, did you get my note? He didn't deny, but he didn't say yes. I said, you got my notes. And I really wanted to talk to you. I wanted to talk to you as a brother to advise you on how we proceed with this. Then he looked at me and said, okay, so what do we do? What do we do now? I said, what I think we should do, let's calm everybody down. Calm everybody down, and you finish your service. Finish your service, finish everything you want to do, and then after church, just reassure them that you will meet with them after church. I think that should be good enough. This was the discussion I was having with Bishop Ross when Kingsley suddenly went off. No, we're not having that. Shut the service down. Shut the service down. The service was shut down by Kingsley. Venerable Kingsley was the one who shut the service down. I didn't shut any service down. Okay? He shut it down because he heard me and Ross talking, and he heard a reconciliatory voice. He heard people that were beginning to talk rationally, like people in America. Americans, we don't fight. We talk. We talk to each other. That's what we do. And that was what was going to happen. And that was what Kingsley prevented. And that's what is still preventing till tomorrow. There has not been any, ACNA has never had any sit down with anybody on this matter. Every time you call them to sit down, they don't want to talk about it.
For those